Okay, I think we're a little better now. All right, let me share this. All right, maybe this will be better here. I don't know. Let's see. Takes too much time to set these up. That's the reason I don't mess with it very often. All right, so hello, I'm Lee. Happy Sabbath. Still in the book of Jubilees, the book of divisions, and we're on chapter 37. So hopefully the sound's better and the video's better. That took some doing. So Jubilees 37. Esau and his sons waged war with Jacob, Jacob. So I moved it and it muted. Great. Oh, thank you, Luke. I guess I'll start over again. I got to watch that. So I got a microphone to try to help with the sound and block the keyboard out and all that stuff. We'll see how it works. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. Thank you for telling me. All right. So let's start over again. Only a couple minutes in. So Jubilees 37, on the day that Isaac, the father of Jacob, and Esau died, the sons of Esau heard that Isaac had given the portion of the elder to his younger son Jacob, and they were very angry. And they strove with their father, saying, Why hath thy father given Jacob the portion of the elder, and passed over thee, although thou art the elder, and Jacob the younger? And he said unto them, Because I sold my birthright to Jacob for a small mess of lentils, and on the day my father sent me to hunt and catch and bring him something that he should eat and bless me, he came with guile and brought my father food and drink, and my father blessed him and put me under his hand. And now our father hath caused us to swear, me and him, that we shall not mutually devise evil, either against his brother, and that we shall continue in love and in peace, each with his brother, and not make our ways corrupt. And they said unto him, so Esau spoke to his children were asking, they strove with him. And then his children responded, We shall not hearken unto thee to make peace with him, for our strength is greater than his strength, and we are more powerful than he. We shall go against him and slay him and destroy him and his sons. And if thou wilt not go with us, we shall do hurt to thee also. And now hearken unto us, let us send Aram and Philistia and Moab and Ammon, and let us choose for ourselves chosen men who are ardent for battle, and let us go against him and do battle with him, and let us exterminate him from the earth before he grows strong. And their father said unto them, Do not go and do not make war with him, lest you fall before him. And they said unto him, This too is exactly thy mode of action from thy youth until this day, and thou art putting thy neck under his yoke. We shall not hearken to these words. And they sent to Aram and to Aduram, to the friend of their father, and they hired along with them 1,000 fighting men, chosen men of war. And there came to them from Moab and from the children of Ammon, those who were hired, 1,000 chosen men, and from Philistia, 1,000 chosen men of war, and from Edom, and from the Horites, 1,000 chosen fighting men, and from Kittim, mighty men of war. So that's from the Romans. And this is, so in the time of Jacob, would be before the Exodus to Egypt, somewhere around 300 years before. So that would be, let's say they put the Exodus at, what is the date of the Exodus? I think it's like 13 or 14. Okay. Traditionally dated to 1446. And they were there about 200 years. So like 1700 BC should be. So 1700 BC, the Kittim, the Romans, mighty men of war. And they said unto their father, Go forth with them and lead them, else we shall slay thee. And he was filled with wrath and indignation on seeing that his sons were forcing him to go before them to lead them against Jacob his brother. So this is Edomites allying with Kittim, Philistia, Moab, Ammon. And we see that later on too. But afterwards he remembered all the evil which lay hidden in his heart against Jacob his brother, and he remembered not the oath which he had sworn to his father and to his mother, that he would devise no evil all his days against Jacob his brother. So even his father said Esau won't remember the oath, and he was correct. If I can find that. 30. I can't remember where it's at. Anyways, Isaac said it. Isaac told Rebekah that Esau wouldn't remember the oath, and he didn't. And notwithstanding all this, Jacob knew not that they were coming against him to battle, and he was mourning for Leah his wife until they approached very near to the tower with 4,000 warriors and chosen men of war. And doesn't necessarily mean a tower, but his place of residence set on a high precipice. So, it could be either, it could be a tower, but it could also be just his house is up on a hill, up on a higher place. And the men of Hebron sent to him, saying, Behold, thy brother hath come against thee to fight thee with 4,000 girt with the sword, and they carry shields and weapons, for they loved Jacob more than Esau. So they told him, for Jacob was more liberal and merciful man than Esau. So, his believers were supposed to be merciful. So Jacob was a believer. He was merciful. Esau was not. But Jacob would not believe until they came very near to the tower. And he closed the gates of the tower, and he stood on the battlements, and spake to his brother Esau, and said, Noble is the comfort wherewith thou hast come to comfort me for my wife, who hath died. Is this the oath that thou didst swear to thy father, and again to thy mother, before they died? So Jacob reminds him of his oath. Thou hast broken the oath. In the moment that thou didst swear to thy father, wast thou condemned. So when he spoke it, he was already condemned. And then Esau answered and said unto him, Neither the children of men nor the beasts of the earth have any oath of righteousness, which in swearing they have sworn, an oath valid forever. But every day they devise evil one against another, and how each may slay his adversary and foe. And thou dost hate me and my children forever, and there is no observing the tie of brotherhood with thee. Hear these words which I declare unto thee. If the boar can change its skin and make its bristles as soft as wool, or if it can cause horns to sprout forth on its head like the horns of a stag or a sheep, then shall I observe the tie of brotherhood with thee. So it's interesting that Esau mentions the boar, unclean animal, and in Enoch's animal dream vision, the Edomites or Esau is considered a boar. And if the breasts separated themselves from their mother, for thou hast not been a brother to me. And if the wolves make peace with the lamb so as not to devour or do them violence, and if their hearts are toward them for good, then there will be peace in my heart toward thee. So, wolves, Egyptians, in Enoch's animal dream vision, lambs, Israel. So, Egyptians make peace with Israel. If the lion becomes the friend of the ox and makes peace with him, the lions were the Assyrians. And if he is bound under one yoke with him and plows with him, then shall I make peace with thee. And when the raven becometh white as the raza, then know that I have loved thee, and shall make peace with thee. So the raven, another unclean animal, thou shalt be rooted out, and thy son shall be rooted out, and there shall be no peace for thee. And when Jacob saw that he was so evilly disposed toward him with his heart and with all his soul as to slay him, so instead of Esau loving God with all his heart and all of his soul, he wanted to slay Jacob with all his heart and all of his soul. And that he had come springing like the wild boar, which cometh upon the spear that pierceth and killeth it, and recoileth not from it. Then he spake to his own and to his servants that they should attack him and all his companions. Legend of the wars between the sons of Jacob and Esau, contained in chapters 37-38, here seems to be ancient. It is also in the Testament of Judah 9 and Jewish Midrashic literature. Our text contains the oldest form. Of course it does. Jubilees was given to Moses. But Testament of Judah would have came before Jubilees. They like to date the Testament that they like to date Jubilees much later. Hopefully you can't hear the keyboard as much now. No. Testament of Judah. Well, that's interesting. Scriptural Research Institute. January 1st, 2020. That's pretty good. So, a newer translation. This is an older translation. Rutherford Platt, 1926. Chapter 2. I don't think it goes chapter 9 in here. Came to Egypt. Okay, so Testament of Judah, chapter 2. In 18 years, my father abode in peace with his brother Esau and his sons with us. After that, we came from Mesopotamia, from Laban. And some of the testaments were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And when 18 years were fulfilled, in the 40th year of my life, Esau, the brother of my father, came upon us with a mighty and strong people. And Jacob smote Esau with an arrow, and he was taken up wounded on Mount Seir. And as he went, he died in Anonaram. And we pursued after the sons of Esau. Now they had a city with walls of iron and gates of brass, and we could not enter into it. And we encamped around it and besieged it. And when they opened not to us in 20 days, I set up a ladder in the side of all, and with my shield upon my head, I went up, sustaining the assault of stones, upwards of 3 talents weight, and I slew 4 of their mighty men. And Reuben and Gad slew 6 others. Then they asked from us terms of peace, and having taken counsel with our father, we received them as tributaries. And they gave us 500 cores of wheat, 500 baths of oil, 500 measures of wine, until the famine when we went down into Egypt. And okay, so stop there. So that's from Testament of Judah. And we haven't quite got that far in here. So Esau's attitude was good until his sons provoked him, and he remembered the hate in his heart. Yep, so this is false, altered, prominent campaigns. Maccabees, that's interesting. They add that in there. The early people had Jubilees, so they used it in their corrupted writings. Rebuke. Okay, so later people, Yohanan ben Torta has the same attitude of Esau. Sooner shall grass grow from thy beard, Akiba, than the Messiah should appear. The large white bird which eats grasshoppers. What is that? That's the Raza. Yeah. So 38. After that, Judah spoke to Jacob his father and said unto him, Bend thy bow. And also let me know how the sound is, because I spent a lot of time trying to fix this thing to eliminate the keyboard sounds and to make it sound better. After that, Judah spake to Jacob his father and said unto him, Bend thy bow, father, and send forth thy arrows. So here's Judah. We just read the Testament of Judah. Send forth thy arrows and cast down the adversary and slay the enemy, and mayest thou have the power, for we shall not slay thy brother, for he is such as thou, and he is like thee. Let us give him this honor. So Judah's like, we're not going to attack him because he's like you. He's your brother. So that's his uncle. Then Jacob bent his bow and sent forth the arrow and struck Esau his brother on his right breast and slew him. So that is Jacob smote Esau, same thing. And again he sent forth an arrow and struck Adaran the Aramean on the left breast and drove him backwards and slew him. So Jacob's good with a bow. And then went forth the sons of Jacob, they and their servants, dividing themselves into companies on the 4 sides of the tower. And Judah went forth in front, and Naphtali and Gad with him, and 50 servants with him on the south side of the tower. And they slew all they found before them, and not one individual of them escaped. And Levi and Dan and Asher went forth on the east side of the tower, and 50 men with them. And they slew the fighting men of Moab and Ammon. And Reuben and Issachar and Zebulun went forth on the north side of the tower, and 50 men with them. And they slew the fighting men of the Philistines. And Simeon and Benjamin and Enoch, Reuben's son, went forth on the west side of the tower, and 50 men with them. And they slew of Adam and of the Horites 400 men, stout warriors, and 600 fled. And 4 sons of Esau fled with them, and left their father lying slain, as he had fallen on the hill which is in Aduram. And the sons of Jacob pursued after them to the mountains of Seir, and Jacob buried his brother on the hill which is in Aduram, and he returned to his house. And the sons of Jacob pressed hard upon the sons of Esau on the mountains of Seir, and bowed their necks, so they became servants of the sons of Jacob. And they sent to their father to inquire whether they should make peace with them or slay them. And Jacob sent word to his sons that they should make peace, and they made peace with them, and placed the yoke of servitude upon them. So they paid tribute to Jacob and to his sons always. And they continued to pay tribute to Jacob until the day that he went down into Egypt. And the sons of Edom have not got quit of the yoke of servitude which the 12 sons of Jacob had imposed on them until this day. So the yoke of servitude. So 2 witnesses. shows that Jubilees is correct. So they impose tribute, servitude. And later Jewish tradition, Esau was killed by Cusham, son of Dan. Most people will go with the Jewish tradition over the actual Jubilees scripture. Yeah. City of Idumea with Adora. So Adora, Idumea, forced to accept circumcision. On Aram and Testament of Judah. Yeah. And these are the kings that reign in Edom before there reigned any king over the children of Israel until this day in the land of Edom. And Balak the son of Beor reigned in Edom. And the name of his city was Dinhabah. So that's the one that opposed Israel when they came out of the Exodus in Numbers. So Balak. Numbers 23. Uh, 22 maybe. That's well into the story. There you go. The Israelites set out and encamped in the plains of Moab across the Jordan from Jericho. Now Balak son of Zippor saw that all Israel had done to the what all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Moab was in great dread of the people because they were so numerous. Moab was overcome with fear of the Israelites. So these came against Jacob. These came against Jacob. So they're doing it again. Moab said to the elders of Midian, "This horde will now lick up all that is around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field." Now Balak, son of Zippor, was king of Moab at that time. He sent messengers to Balaam, son of Beor, at Pethor, which is on the Euphrates, in the land of Amal, or land of his kinsfolk. Why not translate that? To summon him, saying, "A people has come out of Egypt. They have spread over the face of the earth, and they have settled next to me. Come now, curse this people for me, since they are stronger than I. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them from the land. For I know that whomsoever you bless is blessed, and whomever you curse is cursed." So then it goes into the whole account where Balak's trying to curse Israel, and Balaam can't curse them. And Balak died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bosir, reigned in his stead. So there we get more than likely Job from the book of Job. He was a Edomite also. And Jobab died, and Asam of the land of Teman reigned in his stead. And Asam died, and Adath the son of Barad, who slew Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Avith. And Adath died, and Salmon from Amasakah reigned in his stead. And Salmon died, and Saul Ra'aboth by the river reigned in his stead. And Saul died, and Baal Lunan, son of Achbor, reigned in his stead. And Baal Lunan, the son of Achbor, died, and Adath reigned in his stead. And the name of his wife was Matabeth, the daughter of Matarat. These names are hard to pronounce. The daughter of Metabezab. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom. So it's interesting. They have the LXX is the Septuagint. So Balak, Hebrew, Bela, Dinhabah, Bozrah. So it's naming off LXX, Masoretic text, LXX, LXX, Masoretic text. The names have gotten kind of twisted up over the years. So Jubilees 39. Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Happy Sabbath. So, yeah, hopefully I cut out the typing sound. I don't like listening to myself on the video, but I did listen to the video and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's horrible. You can hear the keyboard. And Jacob dwelt in the land of his father's sojourning, so 39, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. And Joseph was 17 years old when they took him down into the land of Egypt. Potiphar, an eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief cook, bought him. And he set Joseph over all his house. And the blessings of Yahuwah came upon the house of the Egyptian on account of Joseph. And Yahuwah prospered him in all that he did. And the Egyptian committed everything into the hands of Joseph, for he saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah prospered him in all that he did. And Joseph's appearance was comely, and very beautiful was his appearance. And his master's wife lifted up her eyes and saw Joseph, and she loved him, and besought him to lie with her. But he did not surrender his soul, and he remembered Yahuwah and the words which Jacob his father used to read from amongst the words of Abraham. So that is a testament to there's a book of Abraham that we don't have, but we do have part of it. So if you go there, should have pulled this up before. So that's the Dead Sea Scrolls by Giza Verms. If you go there, sorry, get a paper copy. Oh, video is not doing too good. Yeah, maybe. It's always something. All right. So here is, so Abraham. So the Genesis Apocryphon, a lot of people miss this. It has Lamech writing in the first person, and Abraham writing in the first person, and Noah writing in the first person. So what's that mean? That means it's their book. And that makes it earlier than Genesis and Jubilees, because Genesis and Jubilees were given to Moses. And Noah, Lamech, and Abraham are before Moses. So here's Noah. Behold, I thought then, no, that's not Noah, this is Lamech. Behold, I thought then within my heart the conception was due to the watchers and holy ones. Bathanash, my wife. Say, then I, Lamech. That's Lamech's writings. So here, I abstained from justice. I lived all my days in truth. Then I, Noah. There's the book of Noah. See? Then you get down here. Be nice if we had the whole Genesis Apocryphon. What they call the Genesis Apocryphon. Then Abram departed. See? Abraham, book of Abraham. Abraham. Abram dreamt. First person, his book. So he did not surrender his soul. He remembered Yahuwah and the words which Jacob, his father, used to read from the words of Abraham. So Jacob had the book of Abraham. That no man should commit fornication with a woman who hath a husband. We don't have that preserved in the book of Abraham. That for him the punishment of death hath been ordained in the heavens before the Most High God. Maybe that's why he called the Pharaoh that I prayed for that blasphemer. So he's breaking God's law. So Abraham says, I prayed for that blasphemer. So, yeah, I don't think that anything would be different today. I prayed for that blasphemer. And the sin will be recorded against him in the eternal books continually before Yahuwah. So that's before the books before God up there. And Joseph remembered these words and refused to lie with her. And she besought him for a year, but he refused and would not listen. But she embraced him and held him fast in the house in order to force him to lie with her, and closed the doors of the house and held him fast. But he left his garment in her hands and broke through the door and fled without her from her presence. And the woman saw that he would not lie with her, and she calumniated him in the presence of his master, saying, and we're only 39, we're already in Joseph. Wow. That don't make any sense. Yeah, maybe it does. All right. Where was I at? Joseph remembered the words, refused to lie with her. She besought him for a year, but he refused and would not listen. She embraced him and held him fast in the house in order to force him to lie with her, and closed the doors of the house and held him fast. But he left his garment in her hands and broke through the door and fled without from her presence. I don't think we get for a year in Genesis. And the woman saw that he would not lie with her, and she calumniated him in the presence of his master, saying, use words that people can understand. Okay. Calumniated, to make maliciously or knowingly false statements about. Thy Hebrew servant, whom thou lovest, sought to force me, so that he might lie with me. And it came to pass, when I lifted up my voice, that he fled and left his garment in my hands when I held him. And he brake through the door. And the Egyptians saw the garment of Joseph in the broken door, and heard the words of his wife, and cast Joseph into prison, into the place where the prisoners were kept, whom the king imprisoned. And he was there in the prison, and Yahuwah gave Joseph favor in the sight of the chief of the prison guards, and compassion before him, for he saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah made all that he did to prosper. And he committed all things into his hands, and the chief of the prison guards knew of nothing that was with him, for Joseph did everything, and Yahuwah perfected it. So when a man's ways are pleasing to the Lord, I think this gets taken out of context too, but Proverbs 16:7, when a man's ways please Yahuwah, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. That does not mean that, like, Messiah's ways were pleasing to God, right? Did they not seek to kill him? That verse wouldn't make sense, would it? But it has to be taken in context. So Yahuwah perfected everything that Joseph did because he pleased God. And then the chief of the prison guards will see that. Yeah, so here, Yahuwah gave Joseph favor in the sight of the chief of the prison guards and compassion before him. That doesn't mean like his brothers sought to kill him. They threw him in the pit. But Yah saved him out. So, and he remained there 2 years, and in those days Pharaoh, king of Egypt, was wroth against his 2 eunuchs, against the chief butler and against the chief baker, and he put them in the ward in the house of the chief cook, in the prison where Joseph was kept. And the chief of the prison guards appointed Joseph to serve them, and he served before them. And they both dreamed a dream, the chief butler and the chief baker, and they told it to Joseph. And as he interpreted to them, so it befell them. And Pharaoh restored the chief butler to his office, and the chief baker he slew, as Joseph had interpreted to them. But the chief butler forgot Joseph in the prison, although he had informed him what would befall him, and did not remember to inform Pharaoh how Joseph had told him, for he forgot. How much would that suck if you're in prison and the dude forgets about you? Kind of important. So, Jubilees 40. In those days, Pharaoh dreamed 2 dreams in one night concerning a famine which was to be in all the land. And he awoke from his sleep and called the interpreters of dreams that were in Egypt and magicians and told them his 2 dreams. And they were not able to declare them. And then the chief butler remembered Joseph and spake of him to the king. And he brought him forth from the prison, and he told his 2 dreams before him. And he said before Pharaoh that his 2 dreams were one. And he said unto him, 7 years will come in which there will be plenty over all the land of Egypt, and after that 7 years of famine, such a famine as hath not been in all the land. And now let Pharaoh appoint overseers in all the land of Egypt, and let them store up food in every city throughout the days of the years of plenty. And there will be food for the 7 years of famine, and the land will not perish through the famine, for it will be very secure. And Yahuwah gave Joseph favor and mercy in the eyes of Pharaoh. So there it is again, right here. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, We shall not find such a wise and discreet man as this man, for the spirit of Yahuwah is with him. So he's a dream interpreter. So a man of God can interpret dreams. And Dead Sea Scrolls, you see Noah doing the same thing. You see Abraham doing the same thing. In the regular scriptures, you see Daniel doing the same thing. You see Ezra doing the same thing. Yeah, that's part and parcel with a prophet, holy man, being able to interpret dreams and having favor with God. And yeah. And he appointed him the second in all his kingdom and gave him authority over all Egypt and caused him to ride in the second chariot of Pharaoh. And he clothed him with byssus garments, and he put a gold chain upon his neck, and a herald proclaimed before him, El wa Abir, Abir, Abir. And he placed a ring on his hand, and made him ruler over all his house, and magnified him, and said unto him, Only on the throne shall I be greater than thou. And Joseph ruled over all the land of Egypt, and all the princes of Pharaoh, and all his servants, and all who did the king's business loved him, for he walked in uprightness. So he walked in God's law, for he was without pride and arrogance. Okay, so if you're walking in God's law, you don't have pride and arrogance. And he had no respect of persons, so he would speak the truth. It doesn't matter if you're friend or family or whatever. He did not accept gifts. That's in the Torah, law of Moses. Do not accept gifts. And don't respect persons. So he's walking in God's law perfectly. Yeah, same thing in Proverbs. To overthrow righteous judgment when you accept the wicked. And we're supposed to have spiritual gifts. I don't see where people are walking in that. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts. Prophesy. So you're supposed to prophesy. Spiritual gifts are for the edifying of the body. Certain gifts are good. Comes from Yah, it's good. Where's that at? Well, it's in there somewhere. Be nice to have all this memorized. Exodus 23:8, thou shalt take no gift, for gift blinds the wise and perverts the words of the righteous. Why would God say that if there's not going to be any righteous people? Where are they at? Where's the righteous people at? Respect persons. James, don't respect persons. He's just teaching God's law. That's what James is doing. Same thing with Romans and Paul, teaching God's law. Proverbs, respect to persons is not good. Where's it at? Come on now. Anybody know where it's at in Moses? There we go. There's one. Deuteronomy 1:17, you shall not respect persons in judgment, but you shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of the man, for the judgment is God's. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. In judgment. So if you're not supposed to respect persons in judgment, that means we're supposed to judge. You have to have good judgment. You got to know the difference between right and wrong, evil and good, righteousness and wickedness. But he judged in uprightness all the people of the land. So here's Joseph judging, which the church and the good part of the Torah community, so-called, is don't judge. You don't supposed to judge. Messiah said, judge not, right? I'm not trying to mock. It's just is what it is. He did say judge not, but don't be a hypocrite in judgment. If you're going to judge, you better not be doing what you're judging. John 7:24, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. If you're breaking the law in what you're judging, that's dangerous. Don't do that. But Joseph was a holy, righteous man, and he judged in uprightness. And the land of Egypt was at peace before Pharaoh because of Joseph, for Yahuwah was with him and gave him favor and mercy for all his generations before all those who knew him and those who heard concerning him. And Pharaoh's kingdom was well ordered, and there was no Satan and no evil person therein. And the king called Joseph's name Shaphan-Taphans, and gave Joseph to wife the daughter of Potiphar, the daughter of the priest of Heliopolis, the chief cook. Excuse me. And on the day that Joseph stood before Pharaoh, he was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh. And in that year Isaac died, and it came to pass as Joseph had said in the interpretation of his two dreams, according as he had said it. There were 7 years of plenty over all the land of Egypt, and the land of Egypt produced abundantly, one measure producing 1,800 measures. And Joseph gathered food into every city until they were full of corn, until they could no longer count and measure it for its multitude. So it gives Genesis 41:34. El wa abirir. Abirir. Wa abir el. God, the mighty one of God. This is a peculiar amplification of the Hebrew abrek, bow the knee. Mighty one of God may be a technical term for a great magician, Acts 8:10. No, holy man. Mighty one of God, holy man. Getting through quite a bit today. So 41, in the 45th Jubilee, in the second week, in the second year, Judah took his firstborn a wife from the daughters of Aram, named Tamar. But he hated and did not lie with her, because his mother was of the daughters of Canaan, and he wished to take him a wife of the kinsfolk of his mother. But Judah his father would not permit him. And this the firstborn of Judah, was wicked, and Yahuwah slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, his brother, go in unto thy brother's wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her, and raise up seed unto thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed would not be his, but his brother's only. And he went into the house of his brother's wife, and spilt the seed on the ground. And he was wicked in the eyes of Yahuwah, and he slew him. And Yehudah said unto Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain in thy father's house as a widow, till Shelah my son be grown up, and I shall give thee to him to wife. And he grew up, but Bethuel, the wife of Judah, did not permit her son Shelah to marry. And Bethuel, the wife of Judah, died in the fifth year of this week. And in the 6th year, Judah went up to shear his sheep at Timnah. And they told Tamar, behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear his sheep. And she put off her widow's clothes, and put on the veil, and adorned herself, and sat in the gate adjoining the way to Timnah. And as Judah was going along, he found her and thought her to be a harlot. And he said unto her, Let me come in to thee. And she said unto him, Come in. And he went in. What is Judah thinking? And she said unto him, Give me my hire. And he said unto her, I have nothing in my hand save my ring that is on my finger, and my necklace, and my staff which is in my hand. And she said unto him, Give them to me, until thou dost send me my hire. And he said unto her, I will send unto thee a kid of the goats. And he gave them to her, and he went in unto her, and she conceived by him. And Judah went unto his sheep, and she went to her father's house. And Judah sent a kid of the goats by the hand of his shepherd, and a Dulamite, and he found her not. And he asked the people of the place, saying, Where is the harlot who was here? And they said unto him, There is no harlot here with us. And he returned and informed him, and said unto him that he had not found her. I asked the people of the place, and they said unto me, There is no harlot here. And he said, Let her keep them, lest we become a cause of derision. And when she had completed 3 months, it was manifest that she was with child. And they told Judah, saying, Behold, Tamar thy daughter-in-law is with child by whoredom. And Judah went to the house of her father, and said unto her father and her brothers, Bring her forth, and let them burn her, for she hath wrought uncleanness in Israel. Why would they burn her? Because they had law back then, before Moses. Let me find it here. And yeah, the harlot in Revelation gets the same thing, burn with fire. Where's it at? There you go. Leviticus 21:9. The daughter of any priest who profanes herself by prostitution, profanes her father, she shall be burned in fire. More proof that Abraham's offspring were prophets, priests. Now, Judah's not Levi, but the whole nation of Israel was supposed to be a holy nation. For she hath wrought uncleanness in Israel, and it came to pass when they brought her forth to burn her, that she sent to her father-in-law the ring and the necklace and the staff, saying, Discern whose are these, for by him am I with child. And Judah acknowledged and said, Tamar is more righteous than I am, and therefore let them burn her not. And for that reason she was not given to Shelah, and he did not again approach her. And after that she bare 2 sons, Perez and Zerah, in the 7th year of this 2nd week. Notice how Messiah's lineage comes through here and not through the Canaanite. And thereupon the 7 years of fruitfulness were accomplished, of which Joseph spake to Pharaoh. And Judah acknowledged that the deed which he had done was evil, for he had lain with his daughter-in-law, and he esteemed it hateful in his eyes. And he acknowledged that he had transgressed and gone astray, for he had uncovered the skirt of his son, and he began to lament, to supplicate before Yahuwah because of his transgression. And we told him in a dream that it was forgiven him, because he supplicated earnestly and lamented, and did not again commit it. So leave off and don't commit sin again. First John 3:9. Whoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remains in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of God. I don't know where that passage is at. Exodus 23. That's good stuff. 1 John 3:6. No one remains in him, keeps on sinning. No one continues in sin. To sin has seen him or known him. But they say that we can break Moses' law. Where's that at? 1 John. He tells you what that is before he says, don't keep sinning. And this is New Testament. Whoever commits sin transgresses the law, for sin is transgression of the law. 1 John 3, the Messiah came to take away our sins. In him is no sin. So then he took away our breaking God's law so we can continue to break God's law? No. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that does righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. So the Messiah was righteous. He kept God's law. So we're supposed to be righteous, keep God's law. Line of Messiah comes from the union of Tamar and Judah. Right. Yep. Believe so. Whoever is born of God doth not commit sin. He that commits sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. Maybe that's why Polycarp told Marcion he was the son of the devil. And he received forgiveness because he turned from his sin and from his ignorance, for he transgressed greatly before our God. And everyone that acts thus, everyone who lies with his mother-in-law, let them burn him with fire, that he may burn therein, for there is uncleanness and pollution upon them. With fire let them burn them. Judah didn't know in his defense. He shouldn't have lay with the harlot, but he didn't know it was his daughter-in-law. And do thou command the children of Israel that there be no uncleanness among them, for everyone who lies with his daughter-in-law. So this was given to Moses. You get the previous account. We see this over and over in Jubilees. You get the previous account that happened with the patriarchs, and then you get the law. Here's why we don't do this now. Or with his mother-in-law hath wrought uncleanness, with fire let them burn the man who hath lain with her, and likewise the woman, and he will turn away wrath and punishment from Israel. And unto Judah we said that his two sons had not lain with her, and for this reason his seed was established for a second generation, and would not be rooted out. For in singleness of eye he had gone and sought for punishment, and namely according to the judgment of Abraham. So it's the judgment of God, but they're calling it the judgment of Abraham, the friend of God, right? So it is Abraham's judgment because it's God's judgment because Abraham is God's, right? Stuff's really not that complicated. People way complicate it. It's pretty plain and simple. James 2:23, the scripture was fulfilled, which says, Abraham believed in God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God. They'll take this word here, believe, you believe a hurricane's coming, so you don't do anything. You just sit there in your house and let your house get blown away and you blown away with it. No, you believe that it's coming, so you do something, right? Abraham believed God, so he obeyed his commandments, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called a friend of God. If you do God's commands, you're a friend of God. If you don't, you're an enemy of God, and you'll be destroyed. Which he had commanded his sons, Judah had sought to burn her with fire. Sign of great felicity. Felicity. What's that mean? Need a dictionary to read your writings, R.H. Charles. Felicity, great happiness, bliss. Why not just put that? Sign of great happiness. Scholars. Well, I don't see it there. Anyways. Yep, later Jewish legend, daughter of Dinah. So this right here goes against scripture, garbage. Most of these are garbage. Probably all of them. Testament of Judah. Punishment appointed for such an offense on the part of the priest's daughter. Yep. According to Targum Pseudo Jonathan on Genesis, Tamar was the daughter of a priest. Genesis 38. The daughter of Shem the Great. Come on, people. Yeah. Daughter of Shem the Great. Told you these targums. You got to be careful of these targums. Yeah. Yeah. She's not the daughter of Shem the Great. Rabbis. Yeah, right. Rabbinic. So that's why you don't listen to rabbis. They don't know what they're talking about. So that's 42. And it's a lot. We covered a lot. Presupposes burning with fire. Genesis 38:24. Okay, Dead Sea Scrolls. Nope. Next best thing. Genesis, Samaritan Pentateuch. If you can't find it in the Dead Sea Scrolls, L86 has some things right, but if you can't find the Dead Sea Scrolls, I look at that. But there's no Samaritan for the prophets' anti-Semitism. Yeah. Anything to shut us up. You got to shut up the people at the end that know what they're talking about. Genesis 38:24. 38:24. It came to pass, Samaritan Torah, about 3 months after, it was told to Judah, saying, Tomorrow thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth and let her be burnt. Yeah, we just got that in Jubilees. Yeah. Same thing. She hath been more righteous than I. So he admitted, yep, she's more righteous than I am. A wicked person would have said, Nope, kill her anyways. Kill her, kill her, kill her, kill her. You know, she's going to expose me for my, yeah. Okay, so Testament of Judah. After these things, my son took the wife Tamar from Mesopotamia, a daughter of Aram. Yep, KJV has enough to see DSS is authentic. Yes, Dead Sea Scrolls are 100% authentic. Now, was wicked, and he was in need concerning Tamar, because she was not of the land of Canaan. And on the third night, a messenger of Yahuwah smote him, and he had not known her according to the evil craftiness of his mother, for he did not wish to have children by her. In the days of the wedding feast, I gave Onan to her in marriage, and he also in wickedness knew her not, though he spent with her a year. And when I threatened him, he went unto her, but he spilled the seed on the ground, according to the command of his mother, and he also died through wickedness. So God considered that wickedness. And I wished to give Shelah also to her, but his mother did not permit it, for she wrought evil against Tamar, because she was not the daughters of Canaan, as she also herself was. And I knew that the race of the Canaanites was wicked, but the impulse of youth blinded my mind. When I saw her pouring out wine, owing to the intoxication of wine, I was deceived and took her, although my father had not counseled it. So he didn't listen to his father, and while I was away, she went and took for Shelah a wife from Canaan. And when I knew what she had done, I cursed her in the anguish of my soul, and she also died through her wickedness, together with her sons. So his wife died. After these things, while Tamar was a widow, she heard after 2 years that I was going up to shear my sheep, and adorned herself in bridal array, and sat in the city and not a name by the gate. So Tamar knew he was coming. For it was a law of the Amorites that she who was about to marry should sit in fornication 7 days by the gate. Therefore, being drunk with wine, I did not recognize her, and her beauty deceived me through the fashion of her adorning. And I turned aside to her and said, Let me go in unto thee. So you see how wicked the Amorites were. And she said, What wilt thou give me? And I gave her my staff, my girdle, and the diadem of my kingdom in pledge. And I went in unto her, and she conceived. And not knowing what I had done, I wished to slay her. But she privily sent my pledges and put me to shame. And when I called her, I heard also the secret words which I spoke when lying with her in my drunkenness, and I could not slay her because it was from Yahuwah. For I said, lest haply she did it in subtly, having received the pledge from another woman. But I came not again near her while I lived, because I had done this abomination in all Israel. Moreover, they who were in the city said there was no harlot in the gate, because she came from another place and sat for a while in the gate. And I thought that no one knew that I had gone into her. And after this we came into Egypt to Joseph, because of the famine, and I was 46 years old, and 70 and 3 years I lived in Egypt. So then he goes on. So obey the commands of God, nothing new. So yeah, I think Judah's in here. So yep, so found the Dead Sea Scrolls also. Scepter shall not depart from Judah. That's the kingship. Yep, Judah's going to return also. Yep, Testament of Judah found the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's what I thought. That's Joseph. Naphtali. Joseph Apocryphon. Well, I thought it was in there. It's not it. 4 small fragments. Testament of Judah. Yep. Original scripture. Most people miss. We're scattered too. Yep. All the tribes are going to return. Going to be a blast. Get to kick some Gentile tail. So enjoy it while it lasts, heathen. See. Of the tribe of Judah, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin. God's going to kick some tail. Revelation. Yeah. Would be great. Oh, to be in that number. A good study too. That old worship song. Mark used to talk about that they used to sing about the redeemed of Yahuwah. Oh, when the saints, oh, when the saints, oh, when the saints go marching in. Yeah. So the redeemed, right? The old church knew about it. The redeemed of Yahuwah, second Exodus. Redeemed of Yahuwah, second Exodus. Psalm 107, Isaiah 51. Redeemed, 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 redeemed. They're coming back. I better get the heck out of the way. You think Israel don't matter? Better drop that. Better drop it. Romans 11, Ephesians 2, Isaiah 62. Holy people, redeemed of Yahuwah. A city not forsaken. Jerusalem returns as well. New Jerusalem, Revelation. So you can go. Oh, wrong one. So many ways to connect second Exodus in the scriptures. You can go to redeemed, you can go to return, you can do captivity, return from the captivity. Pretty cool. We got word searches we can do at the click of a finger. redeemed his people. Yeah. Well, the second time he returns, Israel's regathered for good. Psalm 71. Isaiah 1, Zion shall be redeemed. Isaiah starts off with the second Exodus, and her converts with righteousness. Day of vengeance, the year of my redeemed has come. Second Exodus, Isaiah 63, Isaiah 1, Leviticus 25. I think that's in Dead Sea Scrolls. They reference Leviticus 25, the redeemed. The Jubilee year, the redemption, forgive the sin debt. Forgiving of debts would be Messiah forgiving the sin, or God forgiving the sin debts. Psalm 136. Yeah, it's all over the place. Jeremiah 31, redeem Jacob, redeem Jerusalem. Second Exodus. Isaiah 44, redeem thee. Isaiah 48, he redeemed. Who did he redeem? Israel, Jacob. I don't say Gentiles, it says Israel, Jacob. Isaiah 35, redeemed. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yep. Hebrews 8:13, new covenant, not here yet. Yep. Good stuff. So let me see. So I'm at 40. 42 is next, so I got to 41. Save that. Yep, old covenant ready to die. All right, y'all have a good one. I'm going to get off here. Have a good rest of the Sabbath if you're keeping Sabbath. I hope this was a helpful and a blessing, a good scripture study. And if you're not keeping Sabbath, you need to really consider. If you're a Bible believer, you believe in Jesus, whatever, the Sabbath is still stands. So, all right, see y'all.